So let us see how urea is formed. The previous video we saw how ammonium is released as a part of amino acid metabolism by the action of deamination. So it was first carried out by transamination. Amino group was removed from one amino acid to the other to the keto acid to form another amino acid, and that amino acid upon deamination releases ammonia, isn't it? So this ammonia, when it is accumulated a lot, it becomes problem to the body. It forms toxicity because it accumulates in the body and forms problems to the brains actually. Okay, that is a different story. We just need to know how this urea is formed now. So that ammonia is being converted into urea in liver, because the enzymes needed for the formation of urea is present in the liver cells. So this urea cycle is what we are going to see now. So the reactions of the urea cycle. What is the structure of urea? Urea contains two amino groups. Okay, so the one amino group is derived from the free ammonia, the ammonia which was released in deamination. The other amino group will be formed from another amino acid, namely aspartate. So there is one more carbon in the urea that is got from carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is released in every cell due to cellular respiration, right? So this carbon dioxide and one amino group from aspartate and the free ammonia group. So all these combines to form urea. Actually, this is not taking place in single step. We need five steps to form this urea. The first two steps is seen in mitochondria. The next three steps is seen in cytosol. Okay, so the first step is formation of carbamoyl phosphate. So this is the first two steps. This is one step and this is another step. These two steps takes place in mitochondria, and this 1, 2, 3. These three steps takes place in cytosol. So altogether this 5 steps takes place in which cells? Liver cells. So this mitochondria and cytosol of the liver cell. So what is the first step? This is combination of can you see this ammonia and carbon dioxide. It is actually not free carbon dioxide, right? Sometimes, most of the time this carbon dioxide exists as bicarbonate. So they have given both the structure. So this carbon dioxide and ammonia are the first step product substrates which is involving in the reaction. So you have to start here. So this ammonia and this combines to form carbamoyl phosphate. This is carbamoyl group formation by combination of carbon dioxide and ammonia. You get this NH2 C double bond O. This phosphate group is released from 2 molecules of ATP, and also this is an enzyme called as carbamoyl phosphate synthetase. This enzyme always needs the help of this NAG, N-acetyl glutamate. So without this enzyme will not be activated. So this always will be needed for this reaction, and it is an irreversible reaction. So this carbamoyl phosphate combines with one molecule of ornithine. So this is like TCA cycle. It is a cycle, right? So this will be the end product, and again that will be coming into the cycle. So from here the cycle starts. This ornithine, which is the end product of the previous cycle, enters this reaction. So the carbamoyl phosphate, carbamoyl group, this is a carbamoyl group. This combines to ornithine to form citrulline. So this is structure of citrulline. Up to citrulline it is formed in mitochondria. This citrulline then enters into the cytosol by the way of there will be a transport mechanism. That is as usual. Okay. So this citrulline combines with aspartate. You know what is aspartate? It is one amino acid. So this part of aspartate is combined with the urido group of this urido part of the citrulline. So this is combined to form arginosuccinate. This structure is called arginosuccinate now. It is formed by the enzyme arginosuccinate synthetase. So this arginosuccinase is the next enzyme which splits these molecules as fumarate and arginine. Fumarate you have seen already in TCA cycle, right? So this then enters the TCA cycle. So what can you understand? There is a connection between urea cycle and TCA cycle by this product. So this is the byproduct. And what is the next other product formed is arginine. Arginine is once again it is another amino acid. So this arginine will be broken down by the help of arginase enzyme to urea and water. So this is the urea. This is the urea part, and using water there is a hydrolysis step taking place. It cleaves this urea and the remaining part. Okay, so this is how urea is formed. What is the remaining part? This remaining part is this ornithine. So ornithine once again is formed back to take part in this step. So this is our end product. Okay, so this is about urea cycle. So entry of ammonia, how this ammonia is been converted to urea with the help of all these enzymes. Actually, this is the only one enzyme which is present in the liver cells. In all other cells, all these other enzymes will be present in all other cells, but whereas this enzyme will be lagging. So up to arginine you can see in other cells formation, but urea will not be formed in other cells. It will be formed in only in the liver. Okay, so this is about the significance of urea cycle in liver. If the urea cycle doesn't takes place in liver, you will have more ammonia accumulated in the blood. It will lead to ammonemia. It's a toxic product and it leads to hyperammonemia. It leads to brain damage. Okay, so that's it about the urea cycle.